Hey guys, this is Miss Sebastian. So we are going to look at writing fractions with common denominators. So our first question is, are these fractions equivalent? So we've got 4/10 and 2/6. So the first thing I need to do is find the least common denominator between 10 and 6. Okay, the least common denominator that both 10 and 6 go into, I could do my factor tree and get 5 and 2, and 6 is 2 and 3. Okay, so my 2's match up. So the least common denominator, I would say 5 times my set of 2's times 3 is 30. Okay, so now I can take my least common denominator and say, okay, what did I have to multiply 10 by to get 30? I needed to multiply by 3. So since I multiplied the bottom of the fraction by 3, I also need to multiply the top of the fraction by 3. So 4 times 3 is 12. Now I'm going to take 2/6 and make it an equivalent fraction. So 6 times what gives me 30? Well, I know that 6 times 5 gives me 30, so since I multiplied the bottom by 5, I need to multiply the top by 5. So 2 times 5 is 10. So the question is 12 over 30 equal to 10 over 30? No, it is not. Okay, our next question asks if these two fractions are equivalent. So it's the same type of thing. We've got 12 over 15 and 20 over 25. I see that 20 over 25 can be simplified, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. I can divide both the top and the bottom by 5, and I see that I can simplify this one as well. Both the top and the bottom can both be divisible by 3. So I'm going to divide 12 by 3 and get 4, 15 by 3 and get 5. So are 4/5 and 4/5 equal? Yes, they are. So these two fractions are equivalent. Number 3, find the least common denominator of these fractions. So 2 and 16. So 2 is already prime, being 1 and 2. And 16 is 4 times 4, which breaks down into 2 times 2 times 2. I've got a pair of 2's. So my least common denominator is the 2's times whatever's left. 2 times 2 times 2, which equals 16. So my least common denominator that both can go into is 16. Now, question number 4. Find the least common denominator between 8 and 9. So we're going to put them both up. I know that 8 is 4 times 2. 4 is 2 times 2. And 9 is 3 times 3. So I have no pairs, so I'm just going to multiply them all together to find my least common multiple. So 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8, times 3 is 24, times 3 is 72. So our least common denominator here is 72. Okay, question 5 is drag the appropriate symbol to the box to compare the fractions. So we've got 5/7 and 11/14. So the first thing we need to do is find the common denominator. So I look and I say, okay, 14 is a multiple of 7. What did I have to multiply 7 by to get 14? 2. So if I multiply the bottom by 2, I can multiply the top by 2. 5 times 2 is 10. Now I can easily compare 10/14 to 11/14, and I know that 11/14 is larger. Okay, now I've got 3/4 and 3/5. These cannot go into each other, so I'm going to find the least common denominator. So I've got 4 is 2 times 2, and 5 is just by itself. It's already a prime number. So the least common denominator is 2 times 2 times 5, or 20. So I've got 3/4. So 4 times what gave me 20? That was 5. So I'm also going to multiply the top by 5 and get 15. On the bottom, I've got 3/5. So I have to multiply by 4 to get the 20. And on the top, 3 times 4, that gives me 12. So this one was 12 over 20, and this one is 15 over 20. So the larger of the two is the 15 over 20. So I would say greater than. Number 7, are the fractions equivalent? So the first thing to do is simplify. 35 over 45 can both be divisible by 5. So 35 divided by 5 gives me 7, and 45 divided by 5 gives me 9. Now I'm going to simplify this one. 21 and 36 can both be divisible by 3. So 21 divided by 3 gives me 7. 36 divided by 3 gives me 12. 7/9 and 7/12 are not equal, so this answer would be no. Okay, now we have 1/9 and 2/12. So I'm going to factor these into 3 times 3. And 12 is 3 times 4. So I've got a pair of 3's. So I can say 3 times the 3 that's left times the 2 2's. So 3 times 3 is 9, times 2 is 18, times 2 is 36. Okay. And our last problem, we've got 6/8 and 7/9. So the first thing I need to do is find the least common denominator. I see that 3/8 can be simplified to 3/4, so that makes my job a little easier. 4 and 9 have no common multiples. Okay, it's just 36, then multiplied together. So 9 times 4 gives me 36, so I also have to multiply the top by 4. 7 times 4 is 28. Okay, so 4 times 9 gives me 36. So 3 times 9 gives me 27. 28 is larger than 27, so 6/8 is less than 7/9.